Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. We have some great news stories for you today. First, I want to say, please subscribe to the RavensSpace on YouTube if you're not subscribed for our great Baltimore Raven content. Also, please check out our Patreon page. Help support us and we'll help support you. Thank you guys so much, and we'll hop into the first news story of the day. And this news story is about the make or break players for the Baltimore Ravens, and which players have to perform this season in order to become safe in their roles on the Baltimore Ravens. And the article has 3 players. The first is Breshad Perriman, the second is Max Williams, and the third is Jimmy Smith. There's a couple reasons for each one. I'll go through them quickly, but I'll spend a little bit longer on Jimmy Smith because I think that's the most interesting. So Breshad Perriman, as you know, it's a make or break season for him because he was a first-round pick. His 3rd year as a receiver. It's time to put up or shut up. He had a good season last year where he put up a good amount of yards considering he was the 3rd receiver. So he played behind Steve Smith, and he played behind Mike Wallace, and Dennis Pitta caught 80 balls. So I think that with Breshad Perriman now as really the second option, I believe, in this Ravens offense, that he will have a chance to elevate his game, but it is a make or break season for him. If he doesn't have a breakout season, I do think that the Ravens will still trust him and try to keep on maturing him. But if he has a great season, it could push the Baltimore Ravens to another level. Max Williams, again, injury prone guy, not really great at anything in my opinion. I'm not going to dwell too much because you guys know how I feel about Mr. Williams, but I will say that if he can be the tight end he was in college, then he'll be a tough pass catching tight end. I think if he is at his best, he can be very similar to a Dennis Pitta, but at his worst, he's just a roster spot. I think that if he doesn't perform this season, the Ravens will cut ties with him and won't renew his contract. And then the third one is Jimmy Smith, and Jimmy Smith is interesting because if the Ravens did not sign Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith would be safe and free and fine. However, with Marlon Humphrey, you know, getting ready to come up, got Brandon Carr on another year contract after this, got Tavon Young, who, even though he injured his leg the season before, he was the best cornerback for the Baltimore Ravens. It makes it tough to look at Jimmy Smith's contract, you know, and see how many games he hasn't played over the past couple of seasons and think that this is the cornerback of the future. And I do think the Ravens see that. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that we have a lot of talent at cornerback now, and Jimmy Smith's getting paid the most, but is he the most reliable? And I hope he makes a great season this year. When Jimmy Smith is at his best, he's a top 5 cornerback. There's no doubt in my mind. He makes the Ravens defense great. But if he gets injured again, I think the Ravens might cut the plug on him. The way his contract is structured is very easy for the Ravens to get out of it and not feel too much burden. So again, Jimmy Smith, Breshad Perriman, and Max Williams are the players who are listed as a make or break player this season. And the next story of the day is a quicker story, but it's about Ed Reed. And you guys saw on the episode on Friday, I believe, that Ed Reed was ranked number 4 by NFL.com's Gil Brandt of the all-time safeties. And super funny, they posted something. Ed Reed replied to it, and Ed Reed replied, LOL, just LOL. And it's great. Again, just to come back, I want to, you know, close the circle for you guys. Not that you guys, maybe you guys don't care about Ed Reed's response, but I just want to close the circle. He's rated number 4. In my opinion, he's number 1. I love Ed Reed. He's my favorite Baltimore Ravens player of all time. When you look at the facts, it's crazy, and it's understandable that Ravens fans and people who like Ed Reed think he's the best. He went to more Pro Bowls than Troy Polamalu. He had more interceptions than Houston, and he had more interception return yards and touchdowns than Tunnel. In my opinion, the game is about stopping the opponent and putting points on the board. Ed Reed did both of those things at a high level, and that doesn't even take into account his ability as a returner or his ability as a punt blocker, right? So, you know, it is what it is. I think he's number 1. They think he's number 4. Ed Reed's response to all that was LOL. So we'll move on to the next story. And the third story of the day comes from ESPN, and it talks about the future power rankings. And this is some of the fuzzy stuff that I really don't like to talk to you guys about, but I think it's important because, again, they're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. And so what they do is they project to the future. The next 3 years, what team will be the best? Number 17 is the Baltimore Ravens. And they have a ranking, so they rank several categories that they think will lead to that. They have roster. Ravens are rated as a 70. QB, Ravens have 76. Is all of this is out of 100. Coaching, Ravens are at 76 as well. Draft, 79, and front office 83. I have an issue. The biggest issue I have is with the coaching. They're tied for 13th in coaching. John Harbaugh is a top 5 coach. I will not sit here and let people tell me otherwise. Everyone has an opinion. I understand that. But I really do think John Harbaugh is a great coach. And I think that he has been a great coach since he's got here. And the Ravens have a Super Bowl to show that. So, that's my opinion. They have us ranking 17th to how we're going to be in the future. I'll read you about 2 or 3 of the teams above us. They have Minnesota at 16. They have Denver at 15. And I'll read you guys the number 1 team who they'll think be the best team in the next 3 years. And they have the Patriots, of course. The Patriot love, of course. The NFL loves the Patriots. ESPN loves the Patriots, blah, blah, blah. But again, the Ravens are 17th. Let me know how you guys feel about this ranking down in the comments below. And as we do at the end of every single RavensSpace Daily, we have the mailbag question. And this question comes from Terrell. And Terrell asks, do you think Ozzie has fallen off? Mosley was his last great pick. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Terrell. I would say no, I don't think he has fallen off. And just to go through and show you why I say that, I went through each of the last 5 first-round picks for Ozzie Newsome to show you why I think he hasn't fallen off. And also, you said Mosley was his last great pick. I disagree. I think Ronnie Stanley is going to be a great NFL player. But I'll go through the last 5 first-round picks. 2017, the one that just happened, Marlon Humphrey, we don't really know. We can't talk about that. 2016, Ronnie Stanley had a great rookie season. I think he'll also have another great season and be a great NFL player. 2015, Brashard Perriman. Don't know how great Brashard's going to be yet, but he has all the physical skills. The book is still written on him, but I do think that he's a starter in the NFL once he hits his potential. 2014 is CJ Mosley. CJ Mosley is one of the great young defensive talents in the league, and I think this year he'll make a jump to being a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And then the last one we're going to do is 2013, Matt Elam. Terrible pick. You can't make any excuses for that pick, but by this count, I have 2 good picks that I think are going to be Pro Bowlers. I have 1 pick that I'm not sure of, 1 pick that's too early to talk about, and then we have a bad pick. So, I think that out of this, I think it's safe to say that Ozzie will go 3 for sure, 1 bad, and depending on how Humphrey develops, it might be 4 for 1. So that's a great rank, and I do think that Ozzie Newsome still has it and is still one of the best GMs in the league. So thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. We have episodes every week of RavensSpace Daily where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news for you guys. Please let me know if there's anything that you want to see, anything different that you want. I'm happy to try it out. Again, please subscribe to RavensSpace on YouTube. Check out our Patreon page. And again, follow us on our different social media. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.